Hello, everybody, and welcome back. This is Fintooth, and I'm coming back with another commentary gameplay on Condi Specter. Let's go ahead and get started. So, a lot of the times, higher tier players are really good mechanically at the game. They have a very good game sense, and they've been playing this for 10 years plus. Whenever they upload their videos, they usually show the how far you can get and how far you can push certain classes and what it looks like whenever you're playing at the top level of the game. Uh, I am not a top player. I really am not. I've gotten to Baron of the Arena a couple of times with a couple of different classes, but I've pretty much stayed there, top 100 and A every once in a while. Uh, I've never really had the time or energy to put into getting to Duke of the Arena or anything higher than that. But here, hopefully, um, I'm going to try to show you guys what you shouldn't be doing in a game and how to fix some of the mistakes that you make in the middle of the game as well. So let's go ahead and get started. First mistake of the game. Hasn't even started yet, and I already made a mistake. I messed up because I really should have been trying to generate a little bit of Shroud for Spectre before the game started. A lot of the maps have places where you can jump off of a ledge, get a little bit of damage, go into combat, or for example, this map, you can actually start hitting the gate and go into combat, and then whenever you actually spawn, you're already in combat and you can use some skills to generate some Shroud. Here I messed up by not getting any. And this is gonna set the tone for the very first fight and the rest of the game. So let's go over the team comps real quick. They have a Reaper, they have a Vindicator, they have a Dragon Hunter, an Untamed, and a Deadeye. All four of these guys right here, great at team fighters. The Deadeye itself counters Condi Spectre really well. So any of you guys that have played Spectre, you already know this. It's not a good time whenever you're fighting a Deadeye. On our side, we have me on the Spectre. We have a Core Thief, another Untamed, and a Core Ranger, plus our very own Reaper. So on the team fights, they should have the advantage just talking about classes itself. And we can kind of roam a little bit better than them, but because they do have the Deadeye, the the Vindicator, and the Untamed, they can also kind of roam. So yeah, seeing that, I think this is probably why I messed up at the very beginning. I was trying to fix my build to go towards a more team fight oriented build. I replaced Thousand Needles with Will of Bounty so that I could give my teammates a little bit of stability and they can actually stand on a node a little bit longer. This kind of messes up my ability to 1v1, and it comes at a cost of DPS. But yeah, this is what I decided to do. Alright, so mistake number 2 is right here. Because I don't have any Shroud, I decided to go a little bit more aggressive on the initial fight so that I can generate some Shroud before we have to be put in the back foot. I interrupt the Vindicator, I do a little bit of damage, my Rangers also ping in from pretty far away, and I back out. This isn't too bad, except here is mistake number 2 on my part. I didn't keep track of where my teammates were. If you guys look up here at the map, we have a Thief capping home. We have 1, 2, 3 of us here at mid, and for some reason our Reaper decided to go be a duelist and go to far. I really should have been keeping better track of my positioning and my teammates' positioning before I decided to be aggressive. You guys keep that in mind whenever you guys are playing your own games. Always keep track of where your teammates are and where your enemies are as much as possible. So I make a big mistake and I get really greedy here because I can see the Vindicator is at half health. So I'm gonna use my Elite Well, jump on top of him, and I actually managed to grab him and this other player. Unfortunately, he was standing in a really good position right here, and I accidentally fell off the ledge. If you can see on this side, there's a little box up here that you can stand on. That's where he was standing, or close by on this side, and I just happened to fall off. And when I tried to actually do my burst here, I completely miss because he's a little bit higher than me on verticality. And then I get caught out. I should have been paying better attention to the numbers. They have 4 here at mid. Our Necros over here fighting a 1v1. And I decide to go in whenever there's only 3 of us at mid. I automatically get deleted. You know, and it's quite unfortunate. A lot of people think Guild Wars 2 PvP is a 5 versus 5 player game. It's really not. It's a 1 versus 9 mode. If you can't assume that the other people on your team are going to be doing the most rational things. Like for example, our Reaper, which is probably our best team fighter, decided to go be a duelist. He, but not blaming him, it really is my fault because I didn't pay attention to where my teammates were. So I see that mid is already pretty much lost. I don't want to go there. I decide to start roaming into 4 and see if I could get a decap. Here I see the enemy Untamed already trying to leave, and I know that I'm really not the best duelist, nor I'm in a class that can actually outduel an Untamed. So I see the Warhorn 4 going off, and just because I have been conditioned so much by Soul Beast, I automatically dodge it. He tries to jump on me, I steal into him, and I'm able to interrupt the skill. He gets some good damage down, and then he gets a really good CC on me, and I think that's the Maze 3. Anyways, I automatically stun break, and I heal to get away from him. Try to use a little bit of the terrain to prevent him from jumping right on top of me again. And here I'm gonna set the well on this side so that my port from my sword 2 is gonna be really close to this little section right here. You can't see it very well, but in this line, there's a small rock right here that you can jump on top, and just in case you need to, use this as a kiting spot against other people. So I set my port 2 there, jump right back on top of the ranger, try to get a little bit of Condi damage, use my elite, and try to Condi burst him. He's actually able to clear a lot of the Condis, and I really should be switching over to Scepter a lot faster than I am here. But I see my own ranger come in, and I was able to actually stall him long enough so that the ranger can come in and help me kill him. So I switch over to the Scepter as soon as he starts running away, get an immobilize, and that slows him down just long enough for us to be able to take him out. Alright, mistake number 2. Or I think that's mistake number 3. This guy right here, I don't pay that much attention to him when I really should be. I was focusing too much and trying to get back onto point. You should always try to go. You should always try to face your enemies head on. See here, I take the camera away from him. I can't see him. He's out of his camera, and I can't see what he's doing. So he's able to land his elite shout on me, and then just completely take me out. I had no stun break. I had no way to defend myself right here. I poured back onto the point so I can at least get the decap. But luckily my ranger's really good, and he's able to take the 1v1 fairly easy while I'm just kind of throwing daggers at him. Try to heal a little bit. Not the best idea. Go for the stealth. My ranger goes for the stomp, but he gets feared. Try to heal. He goes for the stomp again, but then he realizes that he's probably not going to get the stomp before I die. So he leaves his pet attacking him, and he hand rests me. Here I'm using my Scepter 3 to get a little bit of mobility. And we're going back to mid. That they happen to win. And let's see, let me go back 1 second. I noticed the Vindicator over here, and he's going behind this rock over here so that he can go to our home. Our home is being taken already, so I already know there's people over there. What I'm gonna do here is go right over the ledge right here and try to get the Vindicator before he can get to the reinforcements from home. Team to take him down, and I see that my ranger walks into a trap, takes more than half his health, so I start healing him right away. Instead of going down and chasing the other teammate that was in there, I decide to go and stand over here for a better vantage point. Always try to top off your teammates whenever you can as a Specter. We're taking this 3, almost 4v1 real quick. That ranger got caught out way out of position, and I'm going to use my Shroud 5 to get a safe stomp on him. And right here, that Necro gets me again with his elite. That dude must have been a thief in his past life because he's super sneaky. I try to get, luckily though, this time I actually have a stun break and I can get away from him. Try to give some quickness to my ranger, and I try to get right on top of the necromancer, but because of the position that I was at, this is going to block most of the damage, or this is going to block most of the damage that I can do to him. So I switch over to the Vindicator, start doing some damage to him because one of my teammates is already on top of him, and you always kind of want to take the same targets that your teammates are already hitting. So the Vindicator, I'm able to stun him. He goes to the block. My teammate gets caught out by the Dragon Hunter Longbow 5, and he gets kind of stuck in the little gate. And I'm trying to get this Necro off of him. I managed to get him in my Well of Shadows, or Well of Darkness, but I have to back off because I'm taking a little bit too much damage. I heal and resustain, go to stealth, and I see the ranger go to our home. I'm not going to chase him because there's still a team fight to win over here, and I don't want to leave my teammates alone. And then suddenly, or not suddenly, but then I decide to get back on the Reaper, and my teammates, I have one right here, and I have another one over here off camera, jump on him with me, and we're able to take him down really quick. So he's down, and then I noticed that the Dragon Hunter is also super low. I try to get him with some of the auto attacks from the Shroud, but then the Vindicator comes and is able to peel for him. Let me go back 1 second and show you guys something important. Let's see. All right, I notice right away that the Deadeye is back over here. And I don't know if you guys can see it, but right here is that that tail of his rifle. So I already know that Deadeyes aren't good for me. I want to get in a position where he's not shooting right at me. So I decide to start chasing the Dragon Hunter because I see him go over here. I jump on top of this. I jump on top of this ledge so that I can have a free range to hit the Dragon Hunter and hide away from the Deadeye. And I used my stun break to do this. Alright, now I see the Deadeye back over here, and he's backing off the ledge, and this is where I make mistake number 6 of the game, I think it is now. Anyways, I for some reason decide to use my only remaining stun break to chase him back down and try to burst him with some Condi, which I, looking back to it, you know, hindsight 2020, really dumb. Deadeyes can just shed any Condis that you put on him, especially by yourself. Nothing that I do is actually going to take him down here. And I just put myself in a really bad position without my stun break or mobility for shadow stepping. I realized what I'm doing, or I realized that it was dumb to do this, so I tried to resustain myself by giving myself a little bit of barrier with my Scepter 3 on someone that's real close to me, but the Deadeye is able to take me out super quick. They try to get a hand raise, but the Vindicator just deletes me completely. Whenever you play the game, you have to make sure that you know who counters you, and always play around them. If there's a thief that can just one-shot you somewhere, always be aware of where the person is and if they can get on top of you. So here, I realize that the Deadeye goes down, the Tiger kills him, and I also see that my Thief is also down. And sort of a Hail Mary, I'm not sure if it was a mistake or not, but it's kind of a long shot. I use up all my utilities to get right back into the mid fight. Use my well to interrupt anybody trying to rest him and get the cleave on the Deadeye. I mean, unfortunately, the thief didn't do enough damage to him, or he wasn't close enough to him to actually rally from that. But I'm able to, at least take out one person. I have no utilities left. I have no stun break. I have to walk away. And this is where counting your teammates is important. I realize that my ranger is going to go free cap far. I see my other ranger over here, and I see that my necro is coming towards me. So I back out a little bit and I try to reposition myself to better take advantage and to be able to kind of go anywhere that I'm needed at any moment's notice. I back up. I also notice that the Necro still hasn't healed, so I don't want to allow him to get out of combat just in case anybody's deciding to go back in. But I also don't want to commit too much. As soon as he goes into Shroud, I back off. And then I saw that my Ranger that was on this ledge goes down, so I decide to back away again. And I'm being very meticulous here, and I'm being very patient because I know that if I go into the mid and I die, that's it. That's game. They caught up to us already. We don't have that lead anymore. So if I die at mid right now, that's basically the end of the game. So I'm being extra careful. I'm waiting for my ranger to fully cap here. I'm waiting for the necro, and I'm hoping that the necro doesn't fully commit all the way, but I'm kind of waiting, trying to see what everybody else is going to do before I jump in. And I think it kind of works out. My necro's in there. He's doing a little bit of damage to their necro, making sure that he doesn't heal. He gets caught out by the dragon hunter, but they're really slow in jumping on him. And I jumped back onto the necro, tried to get the kill. Unfortunately, I didn't, but at least he didn't heal, right? I back out because I see that my necro decides to go far again and duel this ranger over here. So again, we're outnumbered at mid. I think they have 3 here versus me and our ranger, but our other ranger is coming back from spawn. Our thief is going to join us at mid, so we should be able to just collapse into mid and take them out. Keeping this necro in combat is going to help us out a lot because he hasn't healed yet, and I'm pretty sure he's running the shout heal. I'm not sure why he hasn't used it yet, but it's going to allow me to be able to jump on top of him again, and here my ranger's getting pressured. So I want to do everything I can to prevent these 2 guys from being, or these 3 people from me actually being able to kill him. What I do is I jump in with my own wall of darkness, and I happen to just time it right when the necro is going into shroud, so that that's gonna allow my ranger to walk out pretty easily, and it's gonna reduce some of the damage that the necro would have done. Do the burst on the necro. He has a lot of condies and he gets CC'd, so he goes down. I have my Wall of Bounty luckily here that gives me stability. I'm able to stealth up and get a secure stump. Whenever the Dragon Hunter tries to hand res, I'm able to get another big burst on him, steal as soon as he pours back onto me, and he's dead. And luckily I have another safe stomp and take him out. Try to juke out the Daredevil a little bit. I'm sorry, not the Daredevil, the Deadeye. And my teammates are able to get the Vindicator, and we get the Deadeye as well. So just by being patient and waiting for my teammates to be in a better position to actually do something effectively, allowed us to win this team fight when we would have lost it otherwise. At far right now, the Ranger actually won a 1v2 versus our Ranger and our Necro. We see that he's low, so me and my other ranger are jumping on him as much as we can. We get the kill. Kind of wasted some skills here. I didn't need to do that. And now it's time to go back to mid and join the team fight again because the rest of my team is jumping up in there as well. As soon as I get here, I notice that already two of my teammates are down. Over here and over here. The Deadeye is just free casting on them, so I'm pretty sure, yeah, that's what killed one of them. And I see my other ranger over here. He's been using the longbow for the whole match, so I'm pretty sure he's gonna be able to do some damage to him. I try to do some damage into the Dragon Hunter, and I think I'm actually able to generate enough condies so that he can go down in a little bit. Oh, and there's someone on top of him. But I get on top of the Deadeye because I don't want him free casting over there. And I think he goes down there to my condies. Let's see. I back off. The Dragon Hunter goes down. You can tell over here. The Dragon Hunter goes down. So it's time to be a little bit more aggressive. I see that the Ranger entangled the enemy Reaper, and I try to put as much Condi as I can. But then the Vindicator comes and kind of pushes me away. Use my elite on the Vindicator, and he goes down. And now the enemy Reaper is also about to go down. I managed to CC him. Only one left alive is that Ranger, but I think he just goes far, or he goes to our home. I see the enemy team going into our home, so I'm going to back up our Thief. I kind of fumble a little bit here. I walk right into a stun. I interrupt something, and I'm generally not doing much in this team fight. He does a really good job at just preventing my damage. I do a little bit of healing, and I back off because I realize that there's 5 people here. There's 5 of us. There is no need for all 5 of us to be here. So I start backing back off to mid. A little bit too late because the Vindicator is able to get the decap, but at least I can prevent the full cap. He does his hammer 3 and I can interrupt him whenever he comes back. I have no utilities, I have no stun break, I don't want to be in that fight, and I also see that the rest of my team is coming back, so I decide to go to far. I shouldn't have done that, but I did. So the plan here was originally to just decap and go back to mid, but then I start seeing that my team is just dying at mid, and our Necro decided to just 1v2 over here and also die. So now I have to commit to the full cap and then go back to mid. We're at 407 to 437, so it's a pretty close game. I see my Thief go down over here, and I also see that the Reaper is like dangerously low. So I jump on the Reaper, and here is mistake number, I don't know, mistake number 20 of the game. I decide for whatever reason to not use, or to use my stealth stomp instead of going into my Shroud 5 to stomp. Or I could have just been cleaving. But we get the cleave down on the Reaper anyways. I'm lucky that one of my Rangers showed up when they did, and our Thief is back up. That could have ended a lot worse if I wouldn't have been able to get the cleave down. Pressure down the Dragon Hunter, and this time I actually used this ability to stomp. Normally it wouldn't be stomping this much. But they have such a high cleave team comp that anytime one of us goes down, we could automatically die, and they could just rally off of our deaths. So with that high risk gameplay, sometimes you're gonna mess up. Just like this, I came back unnecessarily because I could have easily been back here. I get stunned by the ranger and I get deleted by the Deadeye. Luckily, our thief kills the Deadeye and one of the rangers comes over and hand presses me. This could have been a lot different if I would have gone down here. Our thief gets the decap at home, and I'm pressuring the same person that our other ranger is already fighting because I want, or I'm sorry, that a reaper's fighting because I want to make sure that he goes down. And yeah, that's basically the whole game. We're at 465 to 491, and these two kills right here managed to push us up into the 500. There we go. That is game. I ended up getting like 20 kills here and 2 official deaths, but I ended up getting downed 4 times. I could have played this a lot better, and I hope some of the things that you guys take away from this is to always make sure to have a count on who is around you, to know where your enemies are, and to position yourself better against classes that you know are going to beat you. You know, it's not a skill or an egos thing sometimes. Sometimes some classes just have the tools necessary to take out the class that you are playing. Um, well, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys liked it. I hope it was informative. I'm planning on making more videos like this and maybe a build guide for Specter later on if you guys like it enough. So if you guys did like it, like the video, subscribe, leave a comment. I'm always willing to talk to people. I'm not doing this for the money. I'm not doing this for the fame. I'm just doing it for the love of the game, basically. You guys have a good night, and I'll see you guys later.